Katelyn, thank you for joining me on GB Talks.
Thanks for having me.
How's your morning been?
Yeah, good. Just working as usual, but yeah, not pretty chill.
No, awesome, thank you for joining me. I'm excited to hear about your travel, but before we get into that, do you want to let the Shepparton people know who you are?
Sure. So I'm Katelyn, I'm 25. I am a photographer. I went to uni after school, down to Melbourne for 3 years and did photography. I was one of those ones who, had no idea what they wanted to do after school and left it to the last minute and all that. So in the end, it just came down to what did I like doing? And I don't know. I liked photography then, and I always had, but I never really knew if it was going to be a career and that sort of thing.
Photography seems to be evolving.
Yeah.
The amount of people doing it locally and just all around the world seems to be increasing every
That's
day.
a lot. And I guess with Instagram and that sort of thing, everyone kind of thinks they're a photographer these days as well. But yeah, there's a lot in Shepparton.
Yeah.
I just thought, well, I'm just going to do what I love. And, I went to uni and did that for 3 years. And I loved the course. It was amazing. So it was in South Bank, and it was a uni that just did photography. So the whole thing was just completely focused on that, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And all the lecturers and everything, they were just great.
Was it full-time study?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a degree, a bachelor in photography.
How complex do you think photography is?
I guess we learned a lot of stuff as well as that, I guess the business side, and then we dabbled into video and that sort of thing and all that. But yeah, it was 3 to 4 days a week for 3 years, so it was a lot. But I'm glad that I did it, because then I learned all the editing and that sort of stuff, all the background stuff that would have been hard to teach myself, I think, as well. So yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember how you felt leaving Shepparton to go to Melbourne to study full time? Did you live down there?
I did live there, but I came back every weekend basically.
Yeah.
So I kind of kept my casual job up here in retail, and I don't know, just friends and family and everything up here. So I just went down for my 4 days, rented with friends and that sort of thing, and then came back I was usually down there for 4 and then came back for about 3.
Yeah. So what age were you when you did that?
I took a gap year and then went there, so I would have been 19, I guess.
It's a big commitment to go and move away from your home when you're only 19.
Yeah, it is, but I was excited to do it. But at the same time, I'm definitely more a country person. I like the city, but, after a day, I'm kind of okay, take me back, traffic and people, and it's just so much nicer out here and quiet, which I guess is why I came back most of the time as well.
How does the country make you feel?
It's just quiet. I just love the peace and quiet. I don't know.
It just seems too fast in Melbourne.
Yeah. There's no people out here. Well, less.
When I think about Melbourne, I get a sense that it's big and scary. I don't think I would survive there, but I feel like it would just force you to level up so fast.
Yeah.
So even doing the course down there compared to a course that might have been available in Shepparton, you would have got better teachers,
100%.
more experience.
Yeah. Even all the resources and everything, and they had their own print shop and that sort of thing, so we learned all about printing and all that, and there actually wasn't even the option to study photography in Shep.
Wow.
There was one in Bendigo, which I did get accepted into as well, in Latrobe, but it was it wasn't just photography, so it was you'd kind of major in that, but the actual degree was art or something else.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, if I really wanted to do photography, that kind of was my only option. Well, the only option that I would consider anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad I went to that uni as well, just because it was solely focused on photography. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you picked up a camera?
Not the first time. I remember I used to have a little disposable film camera when I was young. And then probably when I was maybe about 15, I got my first DSLR. And I just take it on trips, which I guess then ties in with all the travel stuff that we're about to talk about. But I was always going away with my family, traveling and that sort of thing. And I just loved experimenting with that and playing around with it. And
Being behind the camera does suit wanting to make money out of travel.
100%, yeah.
So I found out about you through your Instagram page,
Yeah.
which is Adventures with Katelyn.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of crazy journeys on there, and I didn't have a chance to look at them all. What got you into travel?
So I guess, like I said, I guess had the travel bug, as they call it, from a young age. Like, yeah, with my parents and family, always like trips away on the weekend and stuff. Like lots of memories, like camping at Ilden, that sort of thing. And then we kind of did a lot of outback trips as well. So one time we like went across the Simpson Desert, so it was, you know, just our family in our 4-wheel drive and just no one and nothing out there, like just under the stars. Like, so I just have amazing memories like that, which, yeah, just got me to love travel. And then probably, I don't know, maybe when I was early teenage years was my first trip to Thailand with my family. So it was my first overseas trip.
Yeah.
And I remember just sitting like in a little minibus or whatever, like going from the airport to our hotel for the first time and just like looking outside and be like, oh my God, like there's a whole nother world out there. And like, I don't know, I just, for some reason I just remember that trip, like that car trip. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny how like those weird things stick out. Like when I was in Thailand, I did tons of amazing things. But the thing I enjoyed most was we hired a scooter, and I'll quickly tell you about it.
Yeah.
I'll quickly tell you a story about that because this is so funny. I've never rode a bike. I'm like terrible. I can't even drive a car with 4 wheels. And we went to go get a bicycle, like a motorbike, and there was a sign there, and it said, you have to go do a 1-day course if you've never drove a motorbike before, or we won't loan you a bike, especially if you're Australian. That's what the sign said, because there'd been so many crashes.
Yeah.
And I went up and I was like, yeah, I know how to ride a bike. And they're like, oh, okay. Are you sure? Because I must have been looking not too confident. I was like, my name is Harley. Like, come on, I can ride a bike. And they're like, okay, and they gave me the keys, and I walked out to the bike. I sat there for 45 minutes trying to figure out how to turn it on. I had no idea.
Yeah.
But my favourite part of the trip wasn't any of the crazy things we did. It was just riding the bike to the mountain.
Yeah.
Like this immersion of rainforest and thick, dense green colours and windy roads and like the fresh air on my face, and it was just absolutely something else.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What was it specifically about the bus ride for you?
I think just that I'd never seen, I don't know, like obviously life in Southeast Asia is very different to here, and I guess just like everything I saw was just like completely different to what I was used to. I mean, yeah, take in mind I was a young teenager, but like, yeah, I don't know, I just guess didn't really know that whole world was out there, and like, and then anyway, from then I was basically hooked.
So you think travel is addictive?
Yes, 100%.
How would you describe that?
Well, I guess for me, like, I never want to come home when I'm out there. Like, a lot of people get homesick, or like, you know, you kind of get to a point when you're like ready to like come back to normal and, you know, miss your friends and family and that, which I do, but for me it's just like I could do that forever, you know, like.
You could do it forever.
I say that now, but
yeah,
I'm never ready to come home, I don't think, like, yeah.
Why are you home?
Well, a couple of reasons at the moment. Corona.
Oh, yeah, sorry, obviously.
I guess money. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons, but.
I've got a couple of friends who travel the world and work. Do you think that that's something that you could possibly do?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What line of work would you do? Photography?
Photography. Yeah. I've also been getting into video, so I've got my own YouTube channel now, and I've been making videos. So any of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Have you flirted with that idea, like just not coming back?
Yeah. And I will do it one day. Like, I will one day. It's just a matter of when and how I do it. So I guess now at the moment with Corona, it's a perfect time to save up money and, you know, put together a plan of, yeah, I guess what I am going to do next.
And what have you come up with so far?
There's a lot of ideas. I guess one is pretty common, but, you know, get a van or a caravan or something, can do Australia. Just keep going. Another, yeah, I don't know. There's a few things I want to do, like I'd love to do a snow season up in the mountains, just like work up at Buller or Hotham or something.
Yeah.
Just for the season, like I guess just doing whatever jobs they want, but like nothing in particular, but just to live in the snow like that. Even like somewhere like Canada, I've looked into like heading over there and getting a working visa. And
Yeah, don't you want to, like, I feel like if I was going to do something like that, I'd want to be far away from Australia.
yeah.
Because ultimately, deep down, you will come back here.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think there's plenty of time for adventures in
Australia.
your country.
Yeah.
Where I feel like some things you can only do when you're younger overseas.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess that's why, like, I have done a lot of Australia, but that's more with my family and that sort of thing. Like, a lot of my own trips have been pretty much all overseas. But I guess now with this pandemic, that kind of throws everything. So, like, who knows how long now before we can travel internationally. So, if I'm looking into the near future, I guess Australia and probably New Zealand are the options for now.
Was it important for your family to take you on lots of trips when you're growing up?
Yeah. They're definitely the reason that I guess have the travel bug. And yeah, they've always been huge on travel and, do it while you're young and that sort of thing. And yeah, so I definitely have them to thank for that.
Do you think that they've shaped you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I've got a younger brother and a younger sister. And
would you say you guys are similar?
Yeah. My sister's done a fair bit of travel as well. And my brother's, very outdoorsy and, fishing, camping and all that sort of thing. So.
What do you like to do when you travel? Like we just spoke off air about how you spend your time when you get to the location.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, for me, it's all about nature and the outdoors. Like I'll go to cities and that sort of thing. Like I went to America and obviously went and did New York and that sort of thing and all the cities. But for me, I want to be out in the national parks and like the mountains and doing all that sort of thing, like hiking and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Can you explain how you feel when you're in those environments?
Just alive, like free. I don't know. It's just such a feeling of freedom and just like you're really living, And I guess what I've been doing the last few months is all based in Victoria. Been doing a lot of hiking up in the Alpine region and that sort of thing. And yeah, just like the feeling of being on top of that mountain that you've just climbed and, in some cases spent, 5 hours to get up there, just to the top. It's just like such an accomplishment and you just literally feel alive. I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but...
I don't think you're explaining it very well. My experience, I went to the UAE and I was in Abu Dhabi and I was in the middle of the desert and you could not see anything anywhere other than sand dunes. It was just me and one other person. Yeah. And it made me feel small. Yeah. Like this place was just huge. It could have just swallowed me up. But like I wouldn't even know how to get back to where we were. But it was like, it made me feel small insignificant in like a beautiful way.
In the best way, yeah.
Yeah, like there's this amazing planet out there and I get to experience it. And it really made me want to travel more. That specific experience was very important for me to have, I think, as a person growing. Yeah.
And you definitely get that sense in the mountains as well, especially because you're so small and you're just looking around at all these like huge peaks and everything, and it's just like you just feel literally tiny.
I haven't done any mountains.
You need to. Yeah.
Which ones would you recommend?
All the ones I've done are pretty big, but Mount Bogong is the tallest in Victoria, which I did a few weeks ago, and that blew my mind. Like, was amazing. So if you're up for a challenge, I would definitely recommend that. I think it's about 8 hours just to the top and back. So if you're up for a challenge, go do that. Yeah, but would highly recommend that.
So can you talk me through how you start your day to do something like that? Like what equipment do you have?
Yeah.
What time do you wake up?
Well, I'll take you through that day because that day was pretty intense. So, which is not ordinary, but so yeah, I would just wake up at, I don't know, 5 or 6, depending on what time we want to leave, but generally start at first daylight.
Yeah.
Especially when we know it's going to be a big one. So we just take like a big day pack with obviously lots of water. So we've got like our like your water bladder with the straw that comes around, so you can just sip on it as you walk. You don't have to like take it out of your bag. And then we have the life straws. So it's actually like a bottle, and then it's got the filter kind of built into it, so you can just like fill it up at any creek or like river or anything, and then it basically just like filters out all the bacteria and stuff that is bad for you or could hurt you. And then obviously take snacks, take sunscreen, trekking poles are a good one, especially for like Bogong was good. We needed them because, well, one, there was actually snow up the top, so we actually were walking through the snow. So we kind of use that to like just stable ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
But coming down off the mountains can really hurt your knees, just the descent. So the poles take a lot of pressure off your knees by just like putting weight through your arms and using them. Obviously I take all my camera gear. But yeah, nothing special. Like you don't need, anyone can go do it, you know. I mean, obviously be prepared, but and then take like a first aid kit, of course, and watch out for snakes and that sort of thing. But yeah, so anyway, get off 5 or 6 o'clock, start pretty early, probably keep going for the first couple of hours and then stop for a snack break, and yeah, just basically keep going until we reach the top. And then I obviously stop along the way and take a lot of photos and videos and that sort of thing. But yeah, usually once I get to the top, I will sit there for like an hour and just like take it in. I don't know, just look around at all the other peaks and like just not want to leave, basically. Because then once you go back down, you know you're going home and that's it. But yeah, just make the most of it.
On the way up these treks, do you face any mental challenges? Are they physically hard?
I mean, it is, but I don't know, it's not that hard. I mean, well, maybe for me, I don't know, but like I'm used to doing that sort of thing, so my body's kind of used to it. But if you've never done one, then yeah, it would be pretty hard. No, I don't think so, because you're kind of distracted by everything that's around you anyway. Like you're not, I don't know, maybe coming down because
puts pressure on your knees.
Yeah, and you've kind of got what you came there for, and now you kind of, you know.
Yeah, you're on like a flat.
Yeah, so now you're like, what? Yeah. But no, not really. Like I said, you're just distracted by the beauty of everything and where you are.
Yeah. It obviously doesn't cost anything to do that.
No, it's free. Yeah, yep. And so you can even like camp on a lot of them as well, which some of them you have to book that are free, may cost, and then others are free. But so there's one which is actually Falls Creek to Mount Hotham, and that's like a 3-day, 2-night hike. So we've got that one booked in the near future, and yeah, so that one costs, but it's like, I don't know, $10 a night or something. So it's just basically for Parks Victoria to have like the booking system and make sure there's only a certain amount of people there and that sort of thing. And with those ones, you actually get like a platform to like put your tent on and stuff, so it is limited spaces.
When I was watching some of your YouTube videos, obviously one of your most popular ones was your trek to base camp in Nepal.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell the people about that trip?
Sure. So that's literally the best thing I've ever done, that trek to base camp.
Just before we get into it, actually, you got sponsored by Kathmandu for that trip?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How did you land that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so anyone can actually apply. It's just like they call it like the adventure sponsorship or something like that, and it's basically they just have it on their website and anyone can apply if you're, I guess, doing something adventurous and cool. So yeah, I applied for that and somehow got it. So they basically sponsored me with a heap of gear for that trip. So they just sent it to me, and yeah.
That's awesome.
Unreal, yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool. It's good for them to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and they support a lot of like charities, and if you're going to do a volunteer trip, I guess it just depends like who's in. I think they do it like 4 times a year. Just depends who's in that category that time, if you kind of get it or not, or if there's better submissions than you. But yeah, anyone can apply. So.
And obviously you rate the gear.
Yeah. Oh, it's unreal. Yeah. So I got like sleeping bag and like, yeah, heap of rain jackets and that sort of thing, and never had any issues with any of them. So,
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
All right.
So the track, yeah. So I guess I start from the beginning. I found out that anyone could kind of do it. Like I don't know. I never really even knew that was something that anyone could kind of do. Like trek to the base of Mount Everest, you know, the tallest mountain in the world. But I was watching YouTube, and this channel that I follow, Cara and Nate, they, I guess, are doing what I would want to be doing one day, and they travel full time and make YouTube videos and basically make a living out of it. And they did a trek to Everest Base Camp. And so I started watching these videos, and I was just like, holy crap. Like, looking at the, I don't know, just the scenery, the mountains, I was just like, I need to go there. Like, instantly, I was just like, oh my God, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And they made a whole series, so it wasn't kind of till later on that I was like, okay, it's actually like a full thing. Like, you know, it takes nearly 3 weeks. Like, it's actually going to be hard. But I think that made me kind of want to do it more, like the challenge of it. I don't know. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't sounds crazy. But
I don't think that sounds crazy at all.
Yeah.
I think to the majority it might sound crazy,
Yeah.
but to hopefully our listeners and people like myself, that sounds exactly up my alley.
Yeah.
I want to do stuff that's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are kind of like, why would you do that? Or like, why would anyone want to do that? It's like, well, why not? I don't know. It's just like, I don't know, something really cool that I may only get the chance to do once in my lifetime, you know, like, so why not? So I was just going to do it by myself, like do a tour group once I got there and that sort of thing. But a few people were trying to encourage me to like go with someone. I was like, well, I don't know anyone that's going to hike for 17 days, you know, with me. But then I thought of one of my friends that I've been like best friends with since basically primary school, and she's now a travel agent in Melbourne. And I was like, oh, maybe, because like, you know, she's a travel agent, like it's kind of research for her. So I messaged her and I was like, what trips have you got booked this year? And she said she had a couple, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get her to say yes before I tell her what it is. I'm like, do you want to come on a trip with me in October? She's like, yeah, right. And I was like, okay, well, you can't take it back now, we're going to base camp. And she was like, oh, okay. But she actually said yes, and I was shocked. But yeah, and she said like even in her job, she doesn't have, like she'd have more people inquiring about Antarctica and other places than literally Everest Base Camp. But I don't know, that again made me want to do it more, because it's just like something unique that like most people wouldn't do, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, all that happened, and so it's October last year, 2019. So we booked it with a company called Intrepid, and so you can do just Everest Base Camp, which takes 12 days, I think, but in the videos that I'd seen from Cara and Nate, they went to these like gorgeous lakes, like in that region, and they're just like the bluest blue you've ever seen, with like snow-capped peaks behind it, and so when I saw that, I was like, if I'm going to those lakes, because it just looked unreal. So in looking it up, Intrepid offer another trek, which is base camp and those lakes, so that was 17 days, so it's an extra 5. So like, okay, we're doing that. So book that in, and so basically it starts in Kathmandu in Nepal. And you meet your like group there and everything, which was a group of 10, and then we had 3 guides, and basically catch a tiny like 16-person plane from it's normally from Kathmandu, but with it's kind of like peak trekking season, because it's only 2 times a year you can really do it.
Yeah.
So because of that, the airport was really congested, and you had to catch a little minibus through these terrible tiny little dirt roads out to the middle of nowhere to this little regional airport. And then from there we caught the 16-person plane to Lukla, which is actually like one of the world's most dangerous airports, because the runway is like 500 meters, and then on the edge is basically just like a cliff. So it's just like, yeah. So that was intense to start the trip off with, but just the adrenaline, I don't know, it was really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we trekked for, well, I have a funny story actually. On the 3rd day, we went up to a viewpoint to see Mount Everest for the first time. So it was obviously still way in the distance, but it's the first time you can actually see the peak of it. So we're up there. That was great. Took our photos and everything. Heading down, and Ash, my friend that I went with, we're going down these stairs, and she just kind of like falls over, and she friggin' rolled her ankle. Yeah.
Wow.
And she was in pain. Like, normally she would, like, she's the type of person to be like, oh, it'll be right, like, whatever, like, keep going. But she was in pain, and it was like pretty much instantly swelling and bruising, and we're just like, oh my God. So she went back to you stay in these little tea houses. They're basically like little hostels, I guess, but they call them tea houses up there. So you don't actually camp or anything. So she went back there to rest it for the rest of the day. And anyway, we're just kind of hoping in the morning it'd be right. But we woke up and it was so swollen and she could barely walk on it.
Yeah.
So long story short, the group kind of continued on, including me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she stayed there with one of the guides. So this is kind of, I guess, why you have 3 guides as well, because if something happens, one has to be able to, or you need, a couple to kind of stay behind or like go do something. So yeah, I continued on with the group up to those lakes, and she stayed there, and the plan was that she would rest it for like 4 days or so, and then come and meet back up with us, and we'd all continue back on to base camp. So like hoping that she could still actually make it to base camp. And that's what happened. So I went to the lakes with the others, and we came back, and then it was getting better. So she just took it easy for those couple of days, and then met back up with us and the rest of the group, and then we all made it up to base camp and back. So yeah.
Was she devastated when it first happened?
Absolutely devastated. And so was I. I was so scared. Like, we're literally thinking, that's it. She's not going to be able to continue. Like, literally considering, like, what if she has to fly home? Like, what am I doing? Like, it was just this whole thing, and it was, scary. You don't want to, like, come all this way and then, like, day 3 have to call it quits, or, I don't know. But anyway, luckily it worked out.
Was it hard for you to continue on without her?
Yeah, really hard. Yeah. But in saying that, these lakes was pretty much the highlight for me. Like, I was like, yeah, base camp is cool, but like these lakes, like, I would be happy if I went there and not base camp, like it just looked unreal. And I don't know, for me, and I guess that's my photography side as well and all that, but that was where I really wanted to go. And she knew that, and she was like, no, like, go to these lakes, like, I don't want you to stay behind with me. And it was so hard for me as well, just like, I don't want to leave her in this random village, like, with one guide and not know if she's even going to be okay.
Yeah. And
then obviously you don't really have reception. Like, we sometimes have Wi-Fi at the tea houses, but like a lot of times you don't, and it's just like, it was hard.
When I was about 23, I had this mentor, and I was working really hard, and I'd saved up a bit of money, and I wasn't sure whether I should go travel or if I should buy a house. And he was a lot older than me, and he said, well, he pretty much told me a story, and he said, when I was your age, I went and travelled the world. And I woke up one morning in Canada, and I watched the sunrise, and it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my whole entire life. And I started crying because I was by myself.
Yeah.
And that was the story you told me, but it didn't really make sense until recently I seen a motivational quote with Winnie the Pooh in it. And it's 2 of the characters, and they're asking what's more important, the destination or the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And Winnie the Pooh says, it's who you travel with.
Yeah.
Do you think that is, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like that's the truth?
It's definitely the journey. And definitely, it definitely is like who you travel with as well. But for me, I would happily also do a lot of things solo. And I guess that's just me, but like, I guess I'm pretty independent, and I love my alone time as well.
Yeah.
So I could easily do that, but I'm sure you would get sick. I haven't really done actually much solo travel in saying that, but I'm sure after a bit of time you would get sick of it, and it's just like no one to share those memories with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the beauty of what you're doing with the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because you kind of are sharing your memories with
Yeah.
a much larger audience. But it doesn't really come across exactly the same as if...
Yeah.
you shared with somebody who went on the journey with you.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, definitely with the journey and destination thing, like, I don't know, a lot of the hikes I do these days and stuff, it's like, I don't even really care if I don't get to that actual destination, or like sometimes I won't even have a destination. I'll just be like, okay, I don't know, go to this region and then go find cool things to do and like explore and kind of make your own track and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's definitely the journey.
Has anything amazed you more than the lakes?
Hey?
Has anything amazed you more than the lakes?
No. That whole trek in Nepal, like, I don't know if anything will ever top that. But those lakes, that was just amazing. Yeah.
Do you have anything else that you're aiming for like that? Like another place to go?
Definitely going to go back to Nepal and do Annapurna, so that's like a whole other section. So basically I did like the Everest region, but then on the other side of Nepal is the Annapurna section, so I want to go do another trek through there. I think one day I'll probably do Kilimanjaro.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, apart from that, just like, there's a lot of just places that I want to visit. Like Iceland is top of my list right now. And then like Norway, Antarctica, Finland, Switzerland, all those sort of places.
Why those places?
The mountains. Well, yeah, like I said, it's just, I want to go for the nature and hiking and mountains and that sort of thing, and all those places look insane.
Is that the longest trek you've been on, the one to base camp?
Yeah. And it's the only really trek that I've done. Like hiking, it's just whatever I've done around here. Like it's not, I haven't done anything. Even before and leading up into preparation for that trek, I didn't really hike. I don't know. It was just something that I saw and I was just like, okay, once I kind of set my mind to it, I'm like, I'm doing that.
After you've been out there for a couple of days, do you forget about all your problems?
Oh, yeah, less than a couple of days. Like, pretty much as soon as I'm out there. Like, you're just present and you're in the moment and you're just looking around you. And then especially in Nepal, it's just like, you know, there's no cars up there. There's no, like I said, half the time there's no internet, which was good. But the power would go out some nights. It's just like a lot of places rely on solar, and it's just like life is so simple. And everyone's so happy, and it's just, you know, they eat real food. It's like what they grow, and like, I don't know. That's just...
I know what you're saying. Do you think that you bring those things back with you? Like you're out there and you're away from your phone and you're away from the internet and you're keeping it simple, like you just said. Mm-hmm. Like, do you try and implement that life when you return? Or do you just fall back into...
I mean, I definitely do when I'm out and travelling.
Yeah.
Like, I would happily leave my phone in the car and just like, you know, not even have it on me. But in life, I guess, with my photography and my YouTube, it's like the internet and all that sort of stuff is a big part, obviously, of that. But like my dream one day is to just have a house or a little tiny house or a cabin or something out in the mountains, like off-grid, sustainable. Like, that's my dream. Away from everyone.
Are you working towards that already?
I mean, I am, but for now I would rather travel and go around and see as much as I can. But one day when I settle down, that's what I want to do. Yeah.
Explain the picture more. What else do you want?
I don't know. I guess just a secluded, like, property in the mountains, just off-grid.
Do you want to have a family?
One day, I think. I don't know. That's a long time away, and I don't really plan things, so I'm pretty spontaneous. I wing a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're at that age, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
Great. What's the hardest thing about travel?
Coming home, definitely. Which is not even really an answer to that question, but the hardest thing is always coming home for me. Like, I never want to leave, like I said. And I guess another not hard thing, but something that I guess experienced in Nepal was it's a very poor country. And like, I've been to Southeast Asia before and all that sort of thing, but Nepal was very poor. So I guess it's hard seeing a lot of people there and need help, but you kind of feel bad, I guess, and like, yeah.
Yeah, you have empathy for them. How do you feel about these places disappearing? Like these beautiful places getting swallowed up by more property and more people and more tourists doing damage to the land. Like, do you think about that side of it, or?
I do, but at the same time, it kind of makes me want to experience them more now while we can. And I guess, yeah. I mean, there'll always be the remote places like the Himalayas that they'll get more populated, but I guess they're protected.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a balance between, yeah.
It would just be, like the people coming after us, it'd be a shame if they didn't get to experience the things that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And like even when I went to New Zealand, we actually got a helicopter up onto a glacier and then did a hike through the glacier. And they were talking how like in however many years like this glacier won't even exist anymore. So it's like, I don't know, it's just, for me it's more of an urgency to like do these things now while we can, while we're there. But yeah, that's the type of travel that I love, like that adventure type.
Yeah. What would you say to somebody who's putting travel off?
Don't. Do it now. Like there's no excuses. I don't know. Like, yeah, money and that sort of thing, but you can get money back later. Like, you can earn more money later on. If do it while you're young and do it while you're healthy. Like, I don't know. You just learn so much, and it's just, you experience things that you obviously wouldn't otherwise, and you just meet people. I can't see anything bad about it, to be honest.
Would you prefer to stay in a resort or backpackers?
I haven't really done much backpacking, to be honest. Like we did when we went to Malaysia with uni, we did a trip and we kind of stayed in one, but I'd rather kind of camp and like be on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of neither. I don't know, I'd rather have my own, even like a little cabin or something like that. Yeah.
Why do you want to be alone?
Makes me sound bad.
No, I think it's interesting.
I don't know, I'm not a fan of crowds and that sort of thing, and
yeah.
Not that I want to be alone, I want to be with people, but just like
not large crowds and
yeah.
And
just people that I know and get along with, and I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ever, so with your photography, do you ever see something beautiful and then just keep it for yourself? Don't take a photo of it? Or can you not do that? You have to share it.
No, I probably couldn't do that. I would have to take the photo, but I would maybe not do anything with it, like just keep it for myself once I've taken it. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe not share it, or like, yeah. No, that would be hard for me.
What's the significance of the photos for you?
I guess the memories, really, for me. Yeah, just like looking back later on.
Yeah.
And just capturing how beautiful nature is. I don't know. Yeah.
Do you ever struggle with the YouTube videos filming yourself?
Yeah, it was hard. I'm pretty good now, but at the start, like, it was the most awkward thing. Like, so basically I'd always planned to film the trek in Nepal.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of didn't know if I was going to post it or not, but I was like to Ash, like, I'm going to vlog the whole thing. And at least if I don't decide to post it, we've got that for our memories, and like we can look back on that in a few years and just relive it all again. So before that, I kind of tried to film a few videos to like get myself used to the camera and like, I guess, practice. And it was so awkward. Like, I'd hold it up every time and I'd just like laugh, and I just like could not take it seriously. And even in Nepal, like, it was hard, but I think definitely now I'm used to it. But yeah, it definitely takes practice, and you feel so awkward, I don't know, just like talking to a camera, but
I had a YouTube channel when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but I had no problem holding the camera up
Really?
in the middle of a crowd and just talking, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And every time since then, like I stopped, and then I kind of like flirted with the idea of getting back into it because I think it's great. And what you described, that's kind of how I look at it. Like, I don't really mind if nobody watches because it's just a record of my experiences that I would like to look back on.
Exactly.
But every time I've tried to do it since, so many years later, that would have been when I was like early 20s.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I do the same thing. I
Yeah.
go to lift the camera up. I think it's because I feel like I'm too old now to be doing that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a skill, and it's something that if you do, you get good at. You just have to persist through that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I'm so glad that I did do it. And like even already, like watching some of those videos back, it's just like so nostalgic, and I just like love being able to relive it all again. But in saying that, I'm also glad that I posted it on my YouTube channel because that's kind of when I first started, not to get serious about it, but kind of start anywhere. And then, some of those ones from Nepal just kind of went a little bit viral, I guess, and like gained me a lot of subscribers and that sort of thing, and actually to the point where I could monetize my channel, which, is now another income stream. So, pretty lucky in that sense. Like, I think one of those videos got like 250,000
Yeah,
views
noticed that.
Like, I didn't do anything special. That's just, I guess, the YouTube algorithm picking it up and recommending it to other people. But it's interesting, and I love looking at the analytics and all that sort of thing, and like how it all works. So,
Can you disclose how much money you made off that video?
probably not.
Okay.
But like, so anyone who wants to start a YouTube channel, you have to first get 1,000 subscribers, and then I think it's like 4,000 hours or something crazy of watched time on your videos before you can even apply to monetize your channel.
Okay.
So you have to gain a lot of traction before you can even apply to start making money off it and get ads on it and that sort of thing. So I guess I was lucky that a few of those videos kind of did take off because that got me to that level a lot quicker than it would normally take. So,
How do you make yourself stand out with so many people doing that sort of thing?
Yeah, it is hard, and like YouTube's very oversaturated now.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, my niche is going to be like adventure travel and like hiking and that sort of thing, which I guess there's still a lot of people doing, but I don't know, you have to start somewhere. So,
Do you think the content of the travel or your personality is more important in the videos?
It's a good question. Probably personality, to be honest. Yeah, like it's got to be entertaining, I guess, for the people to watch and that sort of thing. And then, I guess when you've got people that already know you, then they want to like follow along and like, I don't know.
Do you think you're good at that?
No, it's something I'm going to work on, but I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like, again, when I used to do it, I reckon I was someone different. I was less funny, more worried about what people were thinking when I was filming myself. If I could just be myself,
Exactly.
it would have been easy to get my personality across, but I just couldn't in front of the camera.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting there, but even like with my friends and stuff, if I like film them as part of the video or whatever, they're just like completely different once the camera's recording. It's funny. It's just like, they can't help it, and neither could I. Like, it's just a natural thing, but
Oh, great. What's your YouTube channel so people can have a look?
Yeah, so it's just Adventures of Katelyn, Katelyn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be posting more local stuff, obviously, for the moment, and
Where would you recommend somebody go on a day trip if they wanted to be immersed in the environment or the wilderness?
Definitely the Alpine region in Victoria. So the Alpine National Park, which basically covers most of the mountains in Victoria. But like Mount Buffalo, Mount Bogong's a good one for anyone that's up for a challenge. Even ones closer like Mount Samaria, some beautiful waterfalls and that sort of thing out there. There's endless.
We've touched on this briefly, but what is your end goal with your videos?
Full-time travel is where I want to be. I guess I just need to work out. I'm kind of dabbling with a few things at the moment, like I said, like YouTube and photography and that sort of thing, but just work out, how I can do that.
Yeah.
And then...
Do you just want to make enough money to support your travel, or do you want to make bank of it?
I just want to be able to travel full time. Like, if I can do that from what I'm doing, then I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If you stay persistent with it and you believe in it, it'll happen.
That's right. And consistency, like, even just the last couple of months, I've been trying to post at least 2 or 3 videos and that sort of thing, and just, like, do a lot more. And I've already seen, like, good results from that. So just consistency, like, posting more and,
Yeah, it's great. All right, Katelyn, last question. Who locally inspires you?
Can actually give my sister a shout out for this one. She started a secondhand clothing market. So, well, she hasn't had it yet because of Corona, but so Regional Rummage she actually created, and she's going to be having that market hopefully next year, which is basically, you can sell and buy secondhand clothing, so it's all about sustainable fashion, and she's doing really cool things with that, so should be another good guest for your podcast actually.
Awesome, Katelyn. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.